Yo, what up, YouTube? Today we're going to review 3 weapon loadouts for Warzone's hottest gun, the MTZ 762 Battle Rifle. If you like today's video, consider subscribing below for future weapon loadouts, and let me know your favorite build in the comments below. With that, let's get into today's video. So before we jump into the separate weapon builds and attachments, let's take a look at the MTZ 762's time to kill relative to some other popular options. The Ram 7 and the Yacht 762 specifically are currently meta builds and meta weapons, and you can see on this chart that the MTZ 762 specifically in semi-auto mode has the fastest time to kill relative to the Bass B, Ram 7, SVA, as well as Yacht. So if this alone doesn't put this gun in the meta, it absolutely makes it a strong contender and makes its case for being in that conversation. So the first build I'm going to share with you guys is going to be an SMG variation that reduces gun kick by 31%, horizontal recoil by 43%, vertical recoil by 21%, reduces bullet velocity by 21%, and improves sprint to fire by 35%. The second build variation is going to be a zero recoil iron sight build. Reduces gun kick by 66%, a 31% improvement to horizontal recoil, a 48% reduction to vertical recoil. It adds almost an 18% penalty for ADS and an 11% sprint to fire penalty. And then the third variation that we will be going over today is more of a balanced build that allows you to choose your preferred optic. It has similar recoil reduction as the previous build, but it has a larger ADS penalty at 30% relative to Iron Sight build at 17.5. Alright guys, so here we're taking a closer look at the SMG build for the MTC 762 battle rifle. So starting off, we got the carbine kit to turn this into more of an SMG, and this in particular will add a lot to the movement speed, some recoil reduction, but the big thing is this is where you're going to get your drop in bullet velocity. So this is, that is unfortunate there. We add on the DR6 hand stop to specifically add with the ADS and sprint to fire to improve those in particular. And then we've got the assault stock to help mitigate recoil, about 16% on horizontal and vertical, while improving our sprint to fire speed. So that's a nice little benefit. The ADS is about 7.5 now. And then the last attachment is going to be a preferred optic. It could be slate reflector, it could be the Mark III, anything that you feel comfortable with. If you are comfortable with the iron sights on this, then you could swap this out for a muzzle or a rear grip to help. I would not recommend a barrel because this does not appear to be having any sort of impact. If you take a look here, it doesn't really matter which barrel you put on, nothing is really changing. I don't know if it's a glitch within the game or what, but I think it's only when you have this carbine kit added, the barrel doesn't seem to really have any sort of impact. So this is the build that I would recommend. It allows for this gun to be basically converted into an SMG and have decent optic to engage in close quarters, and it helps with ADS and sprint to fire while mitigating some recoil with the stock. So overall, decent build, but let's go ahead and jump into the next build. So here we are, guys, with the second build. This is the zero recoil iron sight build, and this is basically designed around the Jack BFB and the stock. The stock in particular, once again, adds that roughly 14% improvement to recoil, and then the Jack BFB with its 60-20-40 improvement. So these two attachments in particular are assisting with the recoil. Now, if you want extra zero recoil, then you can absolutely go with the Ruin Heavy Stock. This is going to be your best way of mitigating recoil. I think, for anybody who struggles with recoil, this is probably your best option right here. let's go ahead and jump into the firing range, and you can just see this. It's for a battle rifle, that's pretty good recoil. Decent iron sights. I mean, that you have to love that. That's pretty nice. So this is definitely the build that I would recommend for most people. For me, I kind of keep going back and forth between the DR6 and the Bruin. It really just depends on, am I trying to use this in closer quarters, or am I trying to kind of engage similar to like a Ram 7, being able to kind of just, it's more or less like a laser beam where you can engage with users, doesn't really matter the distance. So this is definitely the build that I'd recommend. Again, only if you're comfortable with those iron sights. If you're not comfortable with those iron sights, then the next build I think might be your go-to, and it's very similar to this one all around. The only major difference is going to be we swapped out the underbarrel for Oreo Eagle Eye. So again, you can choose whatever optic you see fit or is most comfortable. But the big change here is going to be swapping the underbarrel for Eagle Eye. Now, most people are going to wonder, why take off the Bruin heavy support? Why, that's such a strong attachment. Why remove this? You're getting 10%, 12% horizontal recoil. So for me in particular, when I compare the heavy support grip to another attachment such as the stock has better recoil mitigation. Rather than the 10 and the 12%, this stock has more recoil reduction, and the ADS penalty is only 3.4. Whereas again, if we go back, this Bruin Heavy has a higher ADS penalty and less recoil mitigation. So I see a lot of people rocking the Bruin Heavy support over the stock, this assault stock, and I think that's a huge mistake. I think on that iron build, you can get away with, opting for both, which is great, but if you had to choose one in particular, I would choose the stock over heavy grip. But again, this is the iron build. Swap this out for an optic, and you get to engage in a little bit more range. So there you go, guys. That's 3 builds for the MTZ 762 battle rifle. If you enjoyed today's video, subscribe for more weapon loadouts, drop a like on the video, and let me know your favorite MTZ build below in the comments. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.